Robert Sherman is now with the producer who just got out of the courtroom. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey there, Leland. So we now have a lot more information on what went on in court here. First thing to talk about, one of the most significant developments, as we talked about earlier, Walt Nauta was in court today. He was actually not arraigned today, and he'll have to be back in court on the 27th. He does not have to appear in person, but that's because he does not have any local legal counsel here. So he's going to need somebody who is certified with the Florida bar in order to testify. So Walt Nauta is going to have to be back in court. We do not have any dates for what's going to happen next with the former president. There was a question that one of your guests asked, Leland, about Walt Nauta and the former president being able to talk with one another. So the prosecution has to provide a list of witnesses that the former president is not allowed to speak with. But the judge in this case did say that Nauta and the former president, they are allowed to talk to one another. They are not allowed to talk to one another about the parameters of this case as well. So that is a piece of logistical steps that have to be gotten through. That prosecution has to provide that list in order for this to proceed forward. As we mentioned before, no financial conditions. Nobody has to turn over passports. The former president did not say a single word in court today. Everything went through his attorney, Todd Blanche. Apparently, there was only one moment of emotion inside of that courtroom from the former president when Walt Nauta was speaking with the judge. I guess both Blanche and the former president had a couple of conversations. The former president smirked a couple of times, cracked a grin. That was it. That was the only emotion that apparently we got from Mr. Trump inside that courthouse today. So we still don't have a lot of information about where this is going to go next. There's still a few more logistical hurdles that need to be cleared here, Leland.
All right, and as we understand it, Robert Sherman, who's outside the courthouse, you can see the traffic stopped on the highways in Miami as the Secret Service motorcade heads out. Just real quick, Robert, give us the color now outside of the courthouse. What sort of
I would say,
we know the president's lawyers are going to talk at some point, right?
That's the understanding. Unless what they had to say they already said before they actually went into court today, because we're not expecting to get that from that one legal counsel member. So it is still quite possible. I would actually say that the energy here has simmered a little bit in the last hour. You don't have as many of the bullhorns and the whistles and things like that. It does feel as though that things are starting to trickle out here a little bit. I mean, overall, the energy dropping bit by bit here. We will keep you closely posted if we get anything more from the former president's legal counsel outside the courthouse, Leland.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.